What's going on, guys? Asian Guy here, bringing you a very serious topic and a very controversial topic. It is the lifespan of One Piece Treasure Cruise, as JoJo decides to feature in this video. This is take number 15, by the way. I have failed this video so many times because I keep saying the wrong things. So I'm going to try and take this a little bit more slow pace. So I recommend watching this video on 1.5 times speed, or maybe even 2 times speed, depending on how slow I talk. You can tell my voice is beginning to go because I've been talking at this camera for so goddamn long. Apologies for the babbling on and the rambling there. Final attempt at this video. So, what has happened on global? TLDR, Belgium have completely removed the OPTC global version away from the App Store and the Google Play Store, which for me is, it's crazy. It's so crazy. They've just flat out removed the game. If you still have the game in Belgium, please let me know what the situation is. I really like to look into that. What I am fully aware of right now is that in the future, you won't be able to update it anymore. You can't buy in-game gems. So you just can't update the game. It's like a ticking time bomb. It's like just like the ban that was hit on the cheap gem users who got hit by that ban, the ticking time bomb ban, in which they can't change their device, meaning that in the future when they want to get a new device, they're kind of screwed unless they're playing on Nox. You can still, however, play on the global version of OPTC if you use Nox, and I believe using Nox allows you to purchase gems as well. Not that I'm telling you to go buy gems. What I will say though is that it seems like Europe and also some parts of America are trying to clamp down on loot boxes, in-game currencies, online gambling that exposes children and minors. All these kind of things which should have happened like 5 years ago are finally happening now. It's a generational shift. People from our generation or my generation who are in their 20s now, who fully understand the online universe, the online world, the gaming universe, are finally gaining or moving into positions of power in regulation bodies or regulatory bodies, governments, and being able to spread awareness about these kind of things. Because previously, I think it's very obvious that it was the previous generation and the generation before that, so people like parents in their 40s, 50s, grandparents, so anywhere people from 40 to 60, 70 years ago are the people who are in power, and they just have no idea about the online universe. They have no understanding of gaming, and I would say it's extremely rare for someone of that age to have a fully developed understanding of what is gaming, in-game gambling, online gambling, loot boxes, and all that fiasco stuff going on. So yeah, EA was hit, FIFA was hit, Overwatch, Blizzard's Overwatch was hit, and of course Bandai's One Piece Treasure Cruise was hit by Belgium. EA literally gave the middle finger and they said, we're not removing anything, we're not going to change anything for our Belgian players. If you do play FIFA and you're in Belgium or the Netherlands, please do let me know what the situation is with FIFA. I do come from a FIFA background. I used to have FIFA YouTube videos, not on this channel. I used to have an old channel which used to have like 25,000 subscribers, which was FIFA back in the day before I went to university. And this was a highly contested topic, and as I talked about in my cheap gem videos before, I also did the equivalent of cheap gems, like even advocating for it and advertising it when I was like 15, 16. I didn't know any better. That's not an excuse, but that is the reason why. And I just thought, oh, it's easy money, so let me go ahead and spam these easy illegitimate coins and advertise it. It's an easier way, it's much cheaper alternative to buying packs in game. Both ways are a terrible way to make your way through the game that is FIFA. But FIFA aside, EA decided to say, screw you Belgian government, we're not going to do anything. Blizzard kind of did something. They said they don't agree with what they've been told, but they will still respect it and remove loot boxes from Overwatch for Belgian players. Bandai did the exact same thing. They did an in-game notice saying, it's unfortunate, we don't agree with this, blah, 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 blah. So they made it impossible to buy gems in-game for Belgian players. However, what happened was, even though they did that, I thought it was a fair way to go about it. I think just allowing players to play free-to-play was okay, but it seems like what the Belgian government wanted, this is just speculation, it's not fact, speculated that the Belgian government just wanted the complete removal of the ability to pull or the ability to gamble away your in-game currency for a reward or a complete bust of a reward, which is using gems to do pulls. And obviously Bandai didn't remove that, and therefore the game One Piece Treasure Cruise no longer exists. No longer exists for Belgian players unless they go about unconventional ways of downloading the game. It seems like next up is the Netherlands that want to do this, which is pretty huge, and for me it's a really, really big topic because UK is also on board with this. I live in London. It means if it's removed from the UK, I wouldn't be able to continue playing OPTC on this because I'm on iPhone and it's not a Nox device. I don't want to transfer my account to Nox either. I always want to be playing on iPhone. It means I won't be able to update the game in the future. It means I won't be able to purchase in-game gems. Not that I do that for global anymore, but I have done. I've invested several hundreds into the global game when I was a global main. But there are many different countries and their regulatory bodies. And when I say regulatory bodies, for those people who aren't English native speakers, it's like the people working not necessarily under the government. Some of them are for the government. Some of them are for commissions or groups of, you know, just big officials who deal with gambling and online gambling and trying to protect people from online gambling. So these countries have some sort of regulatory body trying to tackle loot boxes. Austria, Czech Republic, France, Gibraltar, Ireland, Isle of Man, Jersey, Latvia, Malta, the Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Spain, the United Kingdom, and you've got Washington State. So big figures in terms of the gambling world from all of these places have decided to sign on to try and tackle all of these in-game loot boxes, online gambling, and all these problems that expose young children and minors to the world of gambling or illegitimate means of gambling, third-party gambling. It's pretty huge. And I'm taking this article from Eurogamer. It was just released around 10 days ago, this article, I believe. Around 11 days ago now. Eurogamer is quite a reliable source. They are pretty big. They're kind of similar to MCM or Gamescom. So, I don't know what to say. I'm a little bit worried, honestly. I know this will never happen in Japan, and the reason why it will never happen in Japan is because Japan already have regulations in place to tackle in-game gambling. You know, you have to put in your age, you're restricted on how many gems you can buy, and it can become pretty serious because Japan takes the laws very, very seriously. But with global, it's encompassing so many different areas, it's hard to have one universal law to deal with these things. So, wow. It's huge. It's honestly huge. People might not think much of it right now. I always expected this to happen because in the FIFA community, there were movements. One of my friends, Nepenthes, if you check out his channel, I think he has like 2 million subscribers. He might even be on 3 million now. I haven't spoken to him in a while since I'm not really part of the FIFA community anymore. But he was taken to court and I believe he was fined like £100,000 or $100,000 because he was running a third-party gambling site for FIFA. And obviously that was illegitimate in terms of EA's TOS, and also with gambling, it was exposing minors to gambling. So there's that as well. As I said, or maybe I didn't say, maybe I said it in a previous take, but what I wanted to say was I come from a FIFA background, so I'm pretty in the know when it comes to illegitimate ways of selling or advertising or advocating for in-game currencies or ways to obtain a good team or a good box or the equivalent of that for one piece. So on FIFA, you have packs, you have to buy them with FIFA points, and that was extremely expensive. It's just like global and cheap gems. It's very expensive, and for a lot of people, it was unaffordable and it's just not worth it. So they turn to the dark side, which is third party or illegitimate means of acquiring these things. And I used to have on my FIFA channel a FIFA coin sponsor. I didn't know any better. It's not an excuse. I was just a dumb kid back then, but I was also a greedy kid. I wanted money. I was offered a lot of money to advertise these things. I was offered a lot of in-game currency to advertise these things. So I took it. I was like, you know, it's not hurting anyone. So I was just ignorant. I was just plain out ignorant back then when I was like 15, 16. And then obviously I don't do that anymore. I know better. Sorry, my voice is going. I know better than that now. But yeah, FIFA, it was a huge problem. It was so big that just like Bandai, they decided to clamp down on it and try and cut off the source of illegitimate coins, and in Bandai's case, illegitimate gems. Because burning such a big hole in EA's pocket at the time, they were losing hundreds of thousands, if not millions. So obviously that's not nothing to bat an eyelid at, so they decided to try and shut it down. They also went after YouTubers who specifically advertised it and started hunting down their accounts and banning their accounts. And then with OPTC Global, they just tried, well, they're pretty smart about it. They kind of got rid of cheap gems altogether. It's very hard to obtain cheap gems on global now. I don't think it's possible without getting banned or getting hit hard. On Japan, it's not really happened there. Japan is, I would say, there's not many people on the Japanese game that abuse cheap gems. I would say the only people that abuse cheap gems in Japan, I would say less than 1% of the Japanese population on the Japanese game, and the rest of the people who use cheap gems are people who are from outside of Japan. Because in Japan, if you break the law, if you break TOS, it's very serious. People take that shizzle very serious. Respect is a huge cultural thing in Japan. You want to respect the people. Everyone understands the decency of these people and blood, sweat, and tears and all that. I always use that term because it is ingrained in you. It's in Japanese culture. Respect, blood, sweat, and tears. Don't take people for granted. Don't try and screw other people for your own personal gain is really the motto in Japanese culture. So I would say they're not going to clamp down on it because it's not really a big issue. Having said that, I still would not advise you to go and try and do cheap gems on Japan. You're most likely going to end up banned eventually. You might have a good time right now, but in the long run, it's not worth it. But hey ho, in the long run, the game might not even be around. So OPTC Global, 15 different places. If I've counted that right, you've got Austria, Czech Republic, France, Gibraltar, Ireland, Isle of Man, Jersey, Latvia, Malta, the Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Spain, UK, and Washington State, all trying to clamp down within the next few years on in-game loot boxes. What does that mean for OPTC Global? Well, if they follow Belgium's footsteps, then all of these countries will probably have no good access to the game anymore. Updating will be very hard. Unless you play on Nox, you won't be able to play whatsoever. Bandai, if they don't find a way around it, and I say Bandai, but I should say the One Piece Treasure Cruise development team, if they don't find a way around it, then they are in big trouble. Because in my opinion, when it comes to Bandai, they don't really care about OPTC. OPTC is just a tiny, not even 1% of revenue for Bandai. That's how big Bandai is. People always look at Bandai and blame Bandai. They're like, oh, F Bandai, F this, F that. But really what they should be looking at is the OPTC team. But it's such a mouthful to say, oh, the One Piece Treasure Cruise team, screw you. It's easier to just say screw Bandai. At the end of the day, you got to remember, guys, it's an umbrella term. Bandai encompasses so many different gacha games. It's not that one. It's not like there's 5 people working for Bandai and all of them work on all these different gacha games. It's like there's hundreds upon thousands, not hundreds upon thousands, there's thousands of people working for Bandai, and maybe like 5 of those thousands of people are working on One Piece Treasure Cruise for Global. Same with Japan. So yeah, Global, I would say maximum 3 to 5 years. And I know that's quite, I don't know, I want to say it's pessimistic, but I actually think that's optimistic. I would say the movement to get online gambling on the shutdown, in the UK anyway, it's been in the news recently. In the last few years, it's been in the news every now and then, especially with FIFA and Fortnite and CSGO. Big scandals happening. So yeah, it's been pretty big in the UK. I expect the UK to probably get rid of OPTC. If I'm going to say Bandai, but when I say Bandai, I mean the One Piece Treasure Cruise team. I'm going to make that disclaimer now. Every time I say Bandai, I mean the One Piece Treasure Cruise team. If the OPTC team don't get a way around, or if they don't just flat out make it clear that they're going to go free to play for a lot of these different countries and the regulatory bodies, then I can expect OPTC Global to disappear from the in-game stores, or the in-game App Store and the in-game Google Play Store. Not the in-game, the Google Play Store and the App Store, the Apple Store. I'm just waffling here. I'm like, my brain is dying here. But I can expect the UK to be screwed. I expect France and Spain, pretty big countries as well, to also follow suit if the UK does it. If any of France, Spain, or the UK do it, I can really see the likes of Germany, Italy, all of these other countries following suit as well, which will be huge. It will genuinely be huge. They might restrict the game to like an 18 plus. I honestly don't know. That's one way I can see with them dealing with it, restricting the game, age gating it. If they don't age gate it like Japan does, or at the very least soft age gate it like Japan does, there's really no hope for OPTC Global. If they flat out age gate it to like an 18 plus game, you could probably expect the game to die anyway, because the player base will shrink so much. It will shrink so much. And just in general, if you play One Piece Treasure Cruise, you're probably more intelligent than most other gacha game players, because One Piece Treasure Cruise, to be dedicated to this game, you need to have a sophisticated understanding of the gameplay mechanics. And I would say the gameplay mechanics of One Piece Treasure Cruise is way more difficult than the likes of, for example, Dokkan. If you play Dokkan, I'm not saying you're stupid, because obviously you're watching this video, you understand OPTC as well. But, you know, just like Candy Crush or those kind of very basic games, you just slide like this and that's all you really do, but very addictive. And you don't really have to think about teams, you don't really think about meta, you don't have to theory craft. It's also more attractive to developers and also more attractive for consumers to go ahead and play those more simple games. So that is a big blow for both OPTC Global and Japan. And I'm not sure if I touched on it on Japan already, because I'm not sure what I've actually spoken about in this video. I'm sleep deprived, guys, but I'm just going to TLDR this now. OPTC Japan has many competitors. Jump Stadium, Jump Ore Collection, Jumputi, a huge game. You've also got One Piece Bounty Rush, which is a bit of a meme. You've got One Piece Thousand Storm, the direct competitor to One Piece Treasure Cruise. And of course, you have One Piece Treasure Cruise itself. So 6 games, all which have One Piece characters. One Piece Thousand Storm is going pretty hype right now. Katakuri and Big Mom are in it. Just been released. That game has continuously been sucking players away from One Piece Treasure Cruise. It's a much more simple gameplay. It's much more simple to play. One Piece Thousand Storm, you start off with basically, you can have every character in the game that you want. It's just based on how strong your character is. So I think that's more appealing to Japanese players. So OPTC Japan, because it's One Piece, I don't expect it to die anytime soon. OPTC Global, 3 to 5 years. I genuinely think that's the time bomb, that's the timeline and time span that it will take for OPTC Global to completely die out. And that's just me being serious. I might be completely wrong, but gambling, in-game gambling, because of what I did in the past and how I see it as such a dumb mistake I made in the past, and I take it seriously now, this is like kind of a serious topic to me. So I do apologize if it's too dramatic for a lot of people, but likewise in my Cheap Gems video where I called out a certain someone for kind of being a snake because he's exposing certain individuals, young people, to online gambling and online addictions. People didn't take that seriously, but I hope with this video you can tell that I'm being genuinely serious and I'm being genuine when I'm talking about online gambling, and you need to quit the game if you're addicted. If you're trying to justify yourself as a victim for using cheap gems or cheating or any illegitimate ways of paying to pay the game, you're addicted. Or even if you're just addicted to buying gems, even through legitimate means, you gotta take a break and you just gotta quit. It's the best thing for yourself. I know it might sound like I'm attacking people. I'm not trying to attack you. If you are that kind of person, if you are addicted, just take a step back. It's genuinely worth it. I mean, even in the future, if you become re-addicted, that re-addiction will become more worth it because you have more things to pull for. You're not just trying to pull for 1 or 2 units. That's my 2 cents. I'm sorry I babbled on for so long, but it is a topic I wanted to cover. A lot of people have been asking me to talk about the Belgium thing, and I think it's a really huge thing. It's a huge movement, especially in Europe. Again, as I stated, Netherlands does look likely to happen next. Let me know if you're from the Netherlands, if you're from Belgium. What are your opinions? What do you think about the whole situation? It's a complete fiasco in my eyes. I think what Bandai did was fair, trying to make the game free to play and still accessible for Belgian players. And now they just completely removed it, which I think is a little bit unfair, but I can totally understand at the same time why they did it. You don't want to get people, even if it's free addiction, you just don't want people to get addicted, full stop. It's better for the government because you have a more, you have a more functioning society. So there you go, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so sorry for the jagged ending or the second half of the video where I started slurring my words a little bit and losing my thought process. But thank you so much for watching regardless, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. I really look forward to your comments because this is a very hot topic. Please do let me know your thoughts and opinions, and have a wonderful, wonderful day once again. Bye-bye. My voice is gone. My voice is actually gone.